This is Miss Lizzie, and I want to welcome you to the Queen Lizzie podcast. Together, we will go through the history of Rosewood, Florida, and watch as the once prosperous town rises out of the bloodshed, fire, and ash to reveal the people, the memory, and the legacy of Rosewood. Watch every Thursday on Facebook and YouTube, or listen to our story on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. Hello, everybody. I am Lizzie Robinson Jenkins, representing not only the Rosewood Foundation, but the personal testimonies and history of cherished friends and family. You are now watching the Queen Lizzie podcast. Today, we are talking with Chuck Parker. Good morning.
Hello. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you again. Welcome.
Yes,
Welcome to the Queen Lizzie podcast, number 133.
Right.
Yes, okay. And we met earlier this year.
Last
Year at the Cotton Club.
Yes, ma'am. Part
Yes.
of Leadership Gainesville, class of 51.
I was class of 48.
Oh, all right.
Yes, red.
Good.
What were you?
I was blue.
Blue. Okay.
Yeah.
Red, blue. Both of my favorite colors.
Okay.
But anyway, I always enjoy talking with people, after I meet them and get to know them. But I don't know you, but I'm going to know you better at the end of our show.
Excellent.
But it's always amazing to talk to people about real history or real situations or whatever. So would you like to tell me you work
I work at University of Florida.
Okay.
I have helped build a program called Dual Career Partners, which means that we work with the partners of folks who move here to UF,
Okay.
help them gain employment, integrate into the community, find their people. I was a trailing spouse myself. My wife's a vice president at University of Florida,
Okay.
so I followed her here.
Okay.
And initially, I was sort of the CEO of the Parker household,
Okay.
getting her all situated and organized so she could do her job. And after about a year and a half, the vice president of Human Resources came to me with this idea, and I said, Melissa, I don't know anything about HR.
Okay.
I've been in business and sales and higher ed my whole career, but more from an outward-facing
Right.
role, building community and that kind of thing. And she said, I don't need you to know HR. I have that part.
Okay.
I need you to get out into the community and build relationships and partnerships and help people like yourself when they move here integrate into the greater Gainesville area, which is why I joined LG51, because it gave me an opportunity to really
Get
roll my sleeves up
Yes.
and learn about Gainesville, Alachua, and North Central Florida.
right.
And this year I'm a dean for a class of 52.
Really?
Yes, so I stayed engaged, and
Okay.
that's where it's at.
Wonderful. When I started enrolled in Gainesville 48, Leadership 48, I thought I knew everything about Gainesville and Alachua County. I was amazed.
Yeah.
It was awesome, the experience. And I would recommend to each of you, if you're listening, please get involved. It was one of my best experiences, and I enjoyed everything except the one thing I did not participate by choice. The what is it? The water. What is the thing when you go down the river? What was that called?
Oh, the Santa Fe, the kayaking or
The
canoeing.
kayaking.
Yeah.
I could not. Why? Because I was afraid. I grew up, my mom said, don't go near the water. You will drown. Okay? And she meant that. That fear is still a part of my life. I don't do water. Shower. Okay.
about a swimming pool?
No.
No?
No, no, no,
Okay.
no, 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 no. I tried taking swimming lessons. It didn't work. But anyway, that class, Leadership Gainesville, is awesome. An awesome place to get the best
Yeah, I
experience.
think there's a lot of community leaders that have participated,
Yes.
and then they stay engaged. And
Yes.
year over year, the cadence of each month, there's
Mm-hmm.
a different focal point. And that's where I met you on Community
Yes.
and Culture Month
Yes.
at the Cotton Club. And
Yes.
I was
I was your
fascinated.
speaker, right?
Yes, you were
Yes.
one of the speakers
One
at
of the speakers,
yeah,
yes,
you
yes.
and Miss Vivian.
Yes, yes.
And I was fascinated with the Rosewood story.
Yes.
Having grown up in New England, in Boston,
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in Massachusetts, and prior to 1985, I
Mm-hmm.
went on an exchange to Mississippi. I had never, here's a beer drinking Irish Catholic Yankee who had never been out of New England,
Okay.
never been on an airplane.
Okay.
And I ended up in the Mississippi Delta, and that was a very eye-opening experience for me.
It was, and my great grandmother was born in the Delta, Mississippi Delta, in 1826. At age 13, in Parchman, Mississippi, she was kidnapped
Oh my goodness!
and forced to Archer, Florida. Walked 678 miles within 6 months and ended up in Archer. So that's why I am a part of Alachua County, because of her. She never saw her parents again. So my history goes deep, and I'm not angry because of her. I am. I'm not embarrassed because what she did, she had no control.
Mm-hmm.
History. But my mother said, keep it, preserve, protect it, and tell it. Okay, so everywhere I go, I tell the Rosewood history, because that's who I am. And I got a lot going on. We are in the process of publishing a Rosewood cookbook. I would love a recipe from you or your wife or your
Okay.
mother-in-law.
Yeah, we have plenty. Yes. Yeah.
And I will send you my email address so that you can send it
I will
to
do that.
us. And we are making a book. It's more than about cooking. It's about history, tradition, Southern style cooking. This great grandmother that I'm telling you about, I put a recipe in her honor in my book, just from what my mom told me. She was really good, at cooking. And you know what? Speaking of cooking, last week, a couple of weeks ago, I got a letter from the lady who is an email from, I can't think of her name, Deb Halen from New Mexico, running for governor. She read the information about my cookbook. She wrote me and said, if you give me a donation, I will send you my Mexican recipe. I gave her a donation, small donation. She followed. She
Followed
followed.
up. That's
She
great.
did, and I was glad to. In Mexico, you are reading what's going on in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I guess we are put here to do, to connect and interconnect with different people.
Well, I will absolutely get you. My mother-in-law is from a little town in southeast Louisiana,
Okay.
Independence, Louisiana,
Okay.
and she grew up on a strawberry farm. And her mom, we have her handwritten recipes.
Really?
This Christmas, I am going to learn how to make all the Christmas cookies, all the Italian
Okay.
Christmas cookies. And so it's passing it down. I have to keep
Right.
it, and then my nephew, I think, will come up after me.
I would love to have a copy of that handwritten.
Oh, yeah,
we
we
will
can
put
do
it
that.
in the.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. We
Yeah.
will put it in the book as is.
We have a whole bunch of them. It's
Okay.
and my mother-in-law lives with us, so that's why we're in possession of that
Okay.
of Nana's cookbook.
And if you want to talk about Nana,
Yeah.
in the story and as an attachment to the recipe, do
We will.
please do. It's
Yeah.
history.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's like I tell people, it's more than about Rosewood. It's about us
Yeah.
passing down history. All right, wonderful. Looking forward to it. And like I say, Rosewood keeps me busy. It was something I didn't want to do. My mom said, my mother's sister was the teacher. Don't know if you remember me telling you this,
I
but
do. Yeah.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
And she suffered the agony of defeat. But my mother said, research, authenticate, document, and make sure you keep that history alive and positive. Never attack anyone. And I think that's why my show, I don't know if the show is successful, but my listeners, I believe, listen to what I say because I do not hold anyone accountable for what happened back then.
You know, I love that you say that. I wanted to share a quick story if I
Sure,
could.
of course.
When you talk about the history and that experience that I had in Mississippi.
Yes.
You know, growing up in just south of Boston, which was during the busing, forced busing. I lived in a community just south of Boston called Brockton, Mass, home of Rocky Marciano and Marvelous
Okay.
Marvin Hagler.
Okay.
I knew Rocky's nieces and nephews, and Marvin's younger brother lived in the same apartment complex that I did before he was Marvelous Marvin Hagler. It was just
Okay.
Marvin Hagler. I got
Okay.
to meet him when I was in like 5th and 6th grade before he won the middleweight championship. But anyway, I grew up in this apartment complex, completely integrated and completely blind to the racism that was still existed in the
Yes, I
South.
know. More.
And so when I went to Mississippi, and there were segregated residence halls, there were segregated rooms in the residence halls, and that was foreign to me. Well, every weekend they would take us somewhere. We went to Memphis and New Orleans, and one weekend we went to Jackson, and we went to the old governor's mansion, which is now a museum. And when we got there, we walked in, and I kind of like to do my own thing when I go to those. So I walked around, and the civil rights room was right in when you walked in. And I said, I'm going to save that to last. So I walked around the whole museum, and I had my head down, and I walked into that room and looked up, and I was the only white face in the room. There were a couple of police officers, a few gentlemen in suits, and two people, a woman and a man, up in the front. There was a video loop that was playing
Yes.
of the riots in Jackson in the late 60s. And when I walked in, everyone turned and looked at me. And I had a choice. I could turn around and walk out, or I could learn.
Okay.
And I chose
to
to learn. And I stood in the back of the room and listened intently because these two women, the man and the woman, mainly the woman, was basically narrating because there was no audio. It was just a video loop.
Okay.
And she was narrating the video because she was there.
Okay.
She participated. And this was in 1985. So I think the video was taken in 68 or 69, somewhere in that late 60s. And I listened as they went through the whole thing. And then as it concluded, she walked by and I said, it sounded like you were pretty engaged with that. And she said, it brought back some very bad memories.
Yes.
And continued walking. And one of the gentlemen in the suit stopped me. He goes, you're not from around here, are you? And I said, no, sir, I'm from Massachusetts. And I had a very thick Boston accent at the time. And he goes, where? And I said, I'm from Brockton, but I go to school in Westfield State University in Western Mass. He was the governor of the mayor of Hartford, Connecticut. Thurman Milner was his name.
Okay.
And he shook my hand and told me that was a very brave thing that you did, staying there and interacting. And he gave me it was my first business card that I ever received from someone.
Okay.
He gave me his card and said, good for you for sticking around and learning. And that was a very impactful situation in my life that I am grateful that I stayed and listened and actually had firsthand information from people who participated in a very difficult situation. But I learned a great deal that day.
It's tough out there because I participated. I was in college in 1960, and of course, at the Woolworth downtown in St. Augustine, our 4 guys from my college sat at the lunch room, not the lunch room, the lunch counter,
Right.
in order to integrate. It wasn't easy. I remember it as if it was yesterday. I was involved semi, but involved. When you are involved in something, even if you don't participate physically, mental, participation is just as devastating. And I'll always remember what I did, I guess, can credit myself with toward the civil rights movement. We've come a long ways. Okay. All right. That's about time for our first half. We are going to head to a quick break, and we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
I am Black History.
I am Rosewood Black History. I am Florida and America's Black History, and you are too.
January 1st, 1923, the KKK insurrectionists attacked Rosewood, killing 5, burning it down.
Because a white woman lied and cried, a black man assaulted me. Rosewood redevelopment is on its way.
Want to help? Visit rosewoodflorida.com.
Meldon Law has been serving personal injury victims since 1971. In those days, Jeffrey Meldon's presence as an attorney in the music scene dubbed him with the nickname the Hippie Attorney. And although times have changed, 2 things haven't: our commitment to bettering our community by helping the injured,
Albert, are you ready to go to the game?
and our love for the Florida Gators.
If you bleed orange and blue, Meldon Law is the firm for you.
Welcome back to Queen Lizzie Podcast, brought to you weekly from the Steve Spurrier Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. We are here with Chuck Parker. The Queen Lizzie Podcast is brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union, live from the Meldon Law Gator Studios at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. And speaking of Meldon Law, he won't back down is his signature comment. Meldon Law will not back down, and he will not. Very supportive. He was not able to attend my birthday party because he and Freddie and a couple other people were in Miami with Coach, is it Gooden? The basketball coach.
Coach Golden.
Golden, all right. Coach Golden. See, that's why I pay you all. to help me keep it right and keep it moving. But anyway, Meldon Law, I'm very proud of him. Thank you, Meldon. Okay, if y'all are looking for an attorney, please remember him the best.
He was also a speaker the same day I met you at LG 51 earlier in the day.
Okay.
Talking about the music scene and how important community is. So he walks the walk and talks the talk.
He
in the
does.
Community. I completely agree with you.
Since, what, 1970?
Yeah. And
he is still rolling, rocking and rolling, moving and shaking.
Yes.
He is awesome. So is Freddie Weeby. Oh, my God. Freddie is responsible for me, for my Queen Lizzie podcast.
Yep.
Freddie Weeby. You know him,
Good,
right?
I do
Good,
very well. Yes, ma'am.
Good people.
Yes, he is.
And who else? I can't say enough about Steve Spurrier.
Coach Spurrier is a pillar as well.
He is a pillar of this community, and he, Freddie said, we can't be to the birthday party, but he told me, Steve and Jerry are going to take care of you and Freddie.
Yeah.
And they were attending my party. They were excellent guests. They were. And believe it or not, I had a surprise guest that I met a couple of months ago, and I invited him to my birthday party. I found out that he was running for governor, and I said to him, I know how to, get rid of him. I said, well, why don't you come to my birthday party? He said, okay. I said, "You were invited to my birthday party." He said, "Okay." Blew my mind. Who was there? He was there.
Wow.
I made sure he purchased his tickets. He did. And I told him it's not about politics, but he came and just took over, not my party, but people wanted to take pictures with him and hear from him. So I'm bringing him on my show, not politics, but human, okay, humanitarian.
Yes, ma'am.
We need somebody who is going to listen to us. And in the meantime, I have invited other politicians. If they want to, they are going to have to get in touch with me. He has a head start because he listened the first time I met him. And I saw him at this event and I wanted to talk to him. I gave him my card and I said, "I'll see you after you win." Being smart, okay? He said, he stopped me. He said, "Is this your number?" I said, "Yes." He said, "I'll call you."
Okay.
He called. That means a lot when you follow through. And that's enough talking about you, Mr. DJ. But anyway, back to the Spurriers. And don't forget the breakfast. Oh my, the brunch, the weekend brunch, awesome. The best food in town. And I can say that because the food is delicious. I can talk about these four men all the time because had it not been for them, there would be no Queen Lizzie podcast. And I appreciate it. And we need to know that they got histories back. Okay? They respect history. It's uncomfortable. We can't change it. It's history. So we have to pave the way and tell the history for the next generation. Okay? And in a group, we can do that. My mom taught me to make sure you vote all the time. And as a result of all of these opportunities, I met a young man. I didn't meet him. He is my VP. He knows everybody, and he's my resident artist. And we have been talking back and forth about everything. I have been working on Rosewood for 42 years, but in 2003, September 17, I made a trip, got in my car and drove to the Holocaust in St. Petersburg just to visit them. I just wanted to know what it felt like on the other side of history, okay, with the same situation, like it was only 5 people in Rosewood, well, 7 with the 2 white. Many people from the Holocaust were killed. I just wanted to feel the energy. And I met this young lady who was the director, and she gave me she was so glad to see somebody, I guess, of my color, to be interested in what was going on. She gave me a certificate, okay, as a membership. I have that certificate. I can't wait to go back on the 19th of this month. They have invited us back to a program they are having. So I'm out there trying to do what is right to make a difference with our kids and our people. And I didn't tell you, but I did talk about our sponsors, and I want you all to know that we're trying to sell. My books are on the website, rosewoodflorida.com. And I also have a donate button for the museum that I will talk about later maybe. And for scholarship, my aunt was a teacher. 25 years after Rosewood, she was harassed. So we created a scholarship in her honor. 5 scholarships a year we give to the community, $500. But it's better than nothing, and you would think
It sure is.
They would think it's like $5,000 to them. They are very appreciative.
As a first-generation college graduate who received private foundational donations, scholarships my first year in college,
A
I
big
know how
help.
impactful. Oh, it was huge.
I did not receive a scholarship, but I had an uncle, the school teacher's brother-in-law, in fact. He worked, he was the custodian at the white school in Archer. he wasn't paid a lot of money, but each time I came home for a break, a vacation, and if I saw him, he gave me $2. That $2 lasts 2 weeks in college. My mother did not have to give me money for 2 weeks. I'm serious when I tell people that it lasts, and just where we have come from and how we got there. And I like the organizations here that are contributing. That you were telling me a minute ago that you hosted what this weekend?
Yes, we did. So back to the LG
Yes.
Leadership Gainesville program. Each class has a class project
Right.
that they have to coordinate with the whole group. There's about 45 in our class. And after meeting you and Miss Vivian at the Cotton Club, when we as a group started talking about where, who can we raise awareness and funds for, the Cotton Club is trying to restore the Perriman grocery store,
Yes.
part of their campus, at, the area of buildings over there on the east side. And so we said, let's talk to them. And we raised over $10,000 on Saturday.
This weekend.
This past weekend, yes.
Wow.
And it was a great event. We had a full house in the Cotton Club for a brunch, and brass with the Gainesville Orchestra played, and then we had a little program. The mayor came, and that we learned some more history about the Cotton Club and the importance of the grocery store to that community.
Yes.
And even opened the doors. They had it all cleaned out. You could look inside. And then after the program at 1:30, we moved everything outside, and it was a jazz fest, some vendors, and that was open free to the community. So
Wonderful,
It was a
wonderful.
really good event. Thank you for bringing that up.
Right, and this is the purpose of this program. It's more than about Rosewood. It's about community service, community activity, community involvement, and our children. I am so children, may not be the right word, oriented. I remember where I came from, and the opportunity was not there. And anytime I can broadcast children needs, I do it. And that is what we need, and I do it through Rosewood. And my mom, as I said, I love my mom, but I did not love her when she gave me this assignment, because I said, Mom, it's too painful. I don't want to do it. She said, if I was younger, I would do it. And I wanted to say to her, then do it, but I didn't. So I'm doing it for her sister. And she said, baby, I want you to tell that story, but if you tell that story, you need a song.
Yes.
To get the people interested. I did sing my song.
You did. You sang your song. It was fabulous.
I'm just going to do 3 verses today. I hope
Okay.
I can remember. The Cedar Key train conductors were told to pick up in Rosewood. Standing by the tracks with a lantern, his young school teacher stood, waiting in desperation to carry out the sheriff's plans, rounding up the hidden survivors to board the midnight train. The sheriff and the store owner worked around the clock, informed the train conductors just when and where to stop, pick up the men, women, and children who were hiding out, and bring them to Archer, Florida, traveling the same old route. Bob Walker and John Wright took on a daring risk, put the survivors on the train, Lord, and sent them off with a kiss. Notified the Gainesville families to be on the lookout for their kin. Told them the train was coming and told them exactly when. And the story goes on and on and on. Well, thank you.
It was fabulous. Once again.
Yes, and my mom said, tell that story, baby. She said, she did let me know. I know you can't sing, but tell it anyway. And
It was beautiful. And honestly, that impacted our class. I mean, that whole day, when, again, we had to decide on a project that we're like, we want we want to do this, and
Okay.
and it was because of the impact that you had on our group and and Miss Vivian and the rest of the folks over there. I think that the fact that it was right there in East Gainesville and close to proximity, so it was because everyone has day jobs and so forth that they're trying to
Exactly.
do, but it did give us an opportunity to really give back to the community, and it was a lot of fun this weekend.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I want you to know that we are working on a documentary, not soon, but it's in the making. January 3rd or January 10th. I don't know which weekend we're going to be celebrating the 103rd Rosewood anniversary. Okay, and what else we got going on? Don't remember, but anyway, stay tuned, and we can use you all, especially the University of Florida, where you are, the kids, the students. We need to put them to work. They need to be involved. Okay, and I have a student coming tomorrow, and she's going to interview me so that they can get the real story out. The one thing I dislike, and I like saying this, the one thing I don't approve when people talk about Rosewood and not always tell the truth. Okay? I don't like that. I don't appreciate it. I don't like that word. I don't appreciate it. And there is a rumor that the 5 people that were killed in Rosewood were taken 3 miles to Sumner and buried in Sumner's all-white cemetery. Not true. Either they were burned, the 5 that were killed, or the animals ate them. Okay, but there are people saying, "Oh yeah, they are buried in Rosewood, in Sumner." Please stop saying that, and I hope the person or persons are listening. Don't do that, because that's disrespect for our family. It's total disrespect. And we are almost ready to say goodbye. Did I tell you all about the basil? No. I need to tell it today. December 5 through 7 in Miami, Florida, we have been invited to the Arts Basil, which is sponsored by the FIU Jewish Holocaust. That's why I remember I talked about the Holocaust earlier and forgot because I got so much on my mind. But I'm back to it. So follow us. We will be in Miami on the beach. And I do have a painting that's called Hope Prevail. Excellent piece of work. My VP is also an artist. And they have asked to hold that painting for us until we get our museum and art built. We are so excited, and they are so excited. So we're taking Rosewood places. We're going, y'all. So just hang on and follow us, because we got it going on. Okay, now I will give you the opportunity for closing remarks.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me today. It was such a pleasure. It's always great to chat with you. And when I was working on getting sponsorships and so forth for this weekend, Freddie was very gracious, obviously, and stepped right up. And I was hoping to talk to you about the program on this podcast, but we couldn't get it to work until today. Okay. But I do appreciate that and for giving me the opportunity to talk about Leadership Gainesville too, because it's an annual program, and beginning in the spring. We will be getting new recipients or people that apply to be a part of that. So I encourage everyone, if you are interested in, as you pointed out, if you think you know Gainesville, you don't until you go through this whole process.
Absolutely.
And having not grown up here, it was even more impactful for me. So anyone that would like to be engaged in that, it's a year-long program that is sponsored through the Chamber of Commerce, the Greater Gainesville Chamber of Commerce, and welcome people to participate.
Wonderful. And another important program is the Dale Carnegie. If you have not taken that class, you need to. The Dale
I saw
Carnegie.
some pictures of graduation was just last week.
Yes. I've been through that class also. So moving it and shaking it.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
anyway, thank you very much. And
Thank you.
You are welcome. I am continuously humbled, honored, and blessed to meet people daily and invite them to join in peace building, healing, and reconciliation through learning about the history of Rosewood and the community. That will wrap up today's episode. I am Queen Lizzie. Until next time, goodbye.